guys, welcome to a study of giants. You can see our buddy up here in the tree. This is a culmination in this particular video of 10 years worth of boots on the ground, heavy, intense investigation in the field where we have been side by side in a lot of situations with these particular creatures. And we've discovered that the things that everybody calls Bigfoot, those are very small creatures, even the 12-footers. That's nothing. What we've witnessed and then subsequently documented in the field is something that's capable of getting much larger. And today we're going to take a look at some of those larger creatures, the tracks they leave, what they look like in the forest when they're watching you, and the most important aspect of it, how big do they actually get? Well, this particular creature, I was with Sean and Melanie when I saw it. I've described it on many occasions. This particular head, I don't know, if it's 10 feet or what it is, but this particular creature is real. I've seen this thing. It looked at me. I watched it blink. It was perfectly clear. It had some vines hanging off its head. It looked like it had a little hair strand hanging down. It was completely frightening. I got my team to leave the area right then, and the next morning, Sean and I went in and captured this. Along with, and right next to him, was this guy. So the really big creature is just behind this tree, right in this area, and it's right alongside some of these other really large creatures in the tree line. So we've got Sean and me walking up, documenting a monster that's not supposed to exist. This is, and you can see the other creature on the ground right here. It's got the nose and the eyes. It's just blurry, but this guy, this is him. You can see both nostrils. This creature's head is actually pushing the soft tissue of this creature's nose. You can see there's another nose right here, a smaller, darker creature. It appears that it's pressing against this thing's nose and bending it to the side a little bit. They are constantly around each other. But Sean and I shot this, and it's terrifying. This creature here has to be 15 to 16, 17 feet tall. I mean, look at the size of its head. It's the size of a 6-foot man. This one is bigger. This is the tree that I was telling you. It's on this. The other guy's on the other side of this tree. Here he is. One more step, and this guy became visible. So we're dealing with multitudes of these creatures, guys. Look at that shot, man. He looks pissed. You can see the glow coming off the eye there. They leave tracks everywhere, man. And that's how we get the shots, right? We're actually in there. We come across tracks in the right habitat, right? These transition zones that we talk about. And we find these gigantic, 20-plus inch tracks. And sometimes we find tracks that we really can't explain yet as far as linking the podial structure with a subject that we've documented. Which one of our subjects, the crazy looking creatures that we've caught on film, has a podial structure like this? Which one of them has a foot that looks like this? This is really interesting stuff here, man. We haven't seen anything like this in the catalog since the dinosaurs, right? I mean, this is like really incredible. We see this kind of thing on a regular basis. I've been seeing these tracks and dismissing them for 10 years. What could they be? I mean, Then you have your giant, normal Sasquatch tracks, and we find these as well. This is Brian, Captain Brian, with a 30-inch track. And Brian finds these 30-inchers all the time. You've seen videos with Brian in it, and Brian bringing giant track casts. This is another track. He got this one recently in the exact area that we're shooting these creatures. Now, why are these shots always blurry? We go over this, right? We've solved the riddle of pareidolia and what causes that ghosting effect. You can see the creature right there. In this particular shot, it's a frame later, and you can see the nose in a bit different position, but you get this pointy-headed guy right here. And he's the exact same type as this. In fact, it could be the same individual. Looking at a lot of what we've seen and what we've developed here, you can see a similarity in these two creatures. We've got this lower white skin here, and then the brow is darker right here on this one. Is this the same creature? It could be. It could be a lighting situation where there's some shade on this brow and we're just not seeing it. We can see the achromatic cheeks in the nose area, right? Both cheeks, and we can even see the line where that mouth line is right there, right? And the point of the head. There seems to be a link between the size of the creatures and the shape of their heads, the soft tissue patterns, the skull. When these creatures get enormously large, we're seeing that they have very different soft tissue than some of these other ones. We can see this particular image here is an image of a Bigfoot that has his arm out, and I don't know whether you can see his fingers here. It's like we're looking in his elbows back in this area, and this is his arm outstretched in his fingers, and I think they're on top of another creature's head. I really do. But you can see here, this particular creature has a very long upper lip. His mouth's down here, but you can see this whole thing here. This is an example of what's next to him and how this guy's clear in this frame, but this particular Sasquatch and the ones that are with him are not. They're blurry. So why is it that my lens will grab this individual and not this individual? Well, this individual is behind some bush. And this individual, we can see, is out in the open. So the bushes are doing something to cloud the image, and in that way we can't see it. What is missing from this one that we can see it better? We can see his nose, we can see that eye area, this whole head right here. And this is that big orange guy. If you watch that video, that one that looks like a big orange clown with a bald head, this is him. This is that same creature. But why is this one in the same exact position and yet blurry? We have our examples. Hundreds of examples of images of creatures that are back in the bushes that are blurry. The bushes are retransmitting that glow, and the creature's skin is picking it up, bouncing it back, causing a blur. Whereas this particular creature has less foliage around him, and thusly we can see the actual creature better because he's not retransmitting to the same degree that this one is, or these ones, however you want to look at it. We look at what we've discovered here as something that's extremely disturbing because it's gone off of our radar even, right? And we are outdoors in our family. I'm an outdoorsman. I've been outdoors my entire life. In fact, I've hunted other creatures on planet Earth using that have this exact same phenomenon going on. Lots of different species of fish can blend in the way these giant creatures are. You will see diffusion on the backs of every single fish that you ever caught at some point. When you're going along, the angle changes and there's diffusion. That's light hitting the back of that fish and the fish's body camouflaging it. Most fish are achromatically colored. There are thousands of species that have various colors, yes, but white bait is white bait. And white bait is achromatic. And it's also incredibly hard to detect unless you understand what surface variation looks like. That's the creatures underneath the surface of the water, the fish under the water with their fins moving, disturbing the surface, causing surface variation in the area they're swimming. That's how most of the time we detect bait. We don't see the bait. We may see a cloud. What does that sound like? We see a cloud. And then when we get closer and the angles change and the diffusion is interrupted, we can then see that there's fish. It's the exact same concept. So you can see that these creatures have a tendency to blend in wherever they go, and it's incredibly hard to get your camera to act in the way that it's advertised when it comes to photographing achromatic species. And the reason that is achromatic species like this one with this very bright colorless skin causes an optical illusion that fools human beings. We can see this creature right here is retransmitting while we film him. Otherwise, the surrounding areas wouldn't be as blurry. When the creatures congregate together, the retransmission conjugates between the creatures. So you get light bouncing off this creature's achromatic skin that then is causing problems with the one next to him, which is incidentally retransmitting at the same time. There's a conjugation and a propagation that creates a tremendous blur where there really should be none. Identifying these creatures as present in your research in real time should not be difficult. You should be looking for this retransmission. You should be looking for where the forest is confusing your eyes. Only achromatic surfaces can produce this retransmission of forbidden colors that can cause the blobbing effects. These creatures blend in, and their achromatic colorations are so strong that it breaks up symmetry. You throw a little bush in there, and you get troll, giant troll, 12-foot troll watching me, but yet I'm going to sit there and tell you right alongside you, Bigfoot's not real, while you're filming it. This has happened innumerable times. Here's that same creature from a few frames ago with its fingers up, and it's touching its mouth. You can see here, it's moved forward a little bit out of the retransmission, and we can make out its face in one frame. One frame. All it has to do is just shift positions a little bit outside of the edge of that blurring retransmission, that achromatic aberration, and we get frames. In the same way that we got frames of that other creature earlier. Here's Big Orange right here. This is that clown-looking individual. Now, I put this up here for you guys just so you could get like an idea of the symmetry that's involved here. We're gonna see these huge cheekbones, right? This is an immense. That's that clown-looking guy. Got that balding head. Incredible, right? They're enormous, and we have so much visual evidence that's obviously what it is. How is this going underneath the general public's radar that is involved in the subject?